Ooh, ouch. Ma'am, you did this to yourself. You were right the first time. You were right the first time. I was just about to do this story too, and I saw the update and I went ahead and did some other ones. But yeah, you did this to yourself. You can't come back and say, "Well, I talked to my therapist and she told me." Care what your therapist told you. Ma'am, you cheated on your husband. You wanted separation because you wanted to cheat on him. And you thought you were going to get back with your husband once the guy. No, doesn't work that way. It doesn't.
Subject: I thought the grass was greener. Now I'm alone and blocked by my own husband. Hey there. I never in a million years thought I'd be emailing someone like you. No offense, but here I am, crying in my bed at 2:47 a.m., watching video after video on your channel, realizing I have officially become that woman. The kind of woman the men in your stories talk about with pain, anger, and disbelief in their voices. And honestly, I deserve every bit of what's happening to me. But I guess I'm writing you because I need to tell someone, anyone. Maybe if I tell this story raw and real, some other woman out there will read this or hear this and not make the same stupid, selfish mistake I made. My name's Mary, and this is the story of how I destroyed my own marriage over attention from strangers on TikTok, lost the best man I've ever known, and now sit here with nothing but regret. Cliff, my ex-husband, who I still love. His name is Cliff. Even typing that makes my stomach twist because I haven't said his name out loud in weeks. Not because I don't want to, but because he's completely cut me off. No contact, nothing. It hurts. Anyway, I met Cliff when I was 25. He was 29. We met at this outdoor music festival my friends dragged me to. It was hot, it was crowded, and I was miserable until I saw this tall, scruffy looking guy in cargo shorts and a backwards hat arguing, politely, mind you, with the food truck guy because they forgot his fries. I don't know why, but I was instantly drawn to him. Long story short, we struck up a conversation while waiting for food, and he made me laugh harder in 15 minutes than my last boyfriend did in a whole year. Cliff wasn't like the guys I usually dated. He wasn't flashy. He didn't have the slick Instagram model look. He was just real, steady, grounded. Looking back, that man was peace in human form. Our early years together. We dated for almost 3 years before he proposed. And let me just say, Cliff is the kind of man who listens. The first date I ever mentioned my favorite flower was sunflowers. Guess who showed up every single birthday and anniversary with a bouquet of them? Yep, Cliff. We bought a cozy house in the suburbs, got a dog, had Sunday morning pancakes together. We laughed. We stayed up late binge watching stupid reality shows and making fun of the contestants. We were that couple people said was relationship goals. And honestly, for the first 4 years of marriage, it was good. Until I got bored and lonely and stupid. The lonely weekends that started it all. Cliff works in construction project management. When his company landed a huge contract out of state, it meant him traveling more often. Sometimes for days at a time. Sometimes entire weekends. At first, I handled it fine. But then those empty weekends started to feel like punishment. I didn't have many friends around anymore. A lot of my girlfriends were either married with kids or had moved away. So I started scrolling TikTok to kill time. Harmless, right? Wrong. TikTok became my escape and my addiction. It started with dumb videos, me doing trendy dances, posting funny clips of our dog, making jokes about being a weekend widow while my husband was working out of town. And then I went viral, thousands of followers, comments rolling in, People laughing at my jokes, saying how pretty I was, asking why I looked so lonely in such a beautiful house. At first, it was flattering, then it became addicting, and then I started going live. That's when everything changed. The live streams that killed my marriage. When I'd go live, it felt like having a whole room full of people to talk to. Men would flood the comments with compliments, calling me beautiful, asking me why I was alone, telling me I deserved to be treated like a queen. Some trolls would pop in saying crap like, bet she divorced some rich dude and took half. But what shocked me was how other men would defend me. Complete strangers telling off the trolls, defending my honor like knights in shining armor behind a screen. And yes, it felt good, better than it should have. Because here's the ugly truth I have to admit out loud. I started having more conversations with random men on TikTok than I did with my own husband. The guy who crossed the line, Bruce. And then came Bruce. Bruce was a regular on my lives, always gifting little emotes, always complimenting me without being creepy, just super friendly. One night during a live, I jokingly mentioned how I wanted this new wig I saw online. It was over $1,000, but Cliff had told me absolutely not, that spending that kind of money on hair was ridiculous. That night after I ended my live, Bruce messaged me privately. Hey, what's your Cash App? I honestly thought he might send like $5 or $10. TikTok doesn't pay creators hardly anything unless you're huge. But when I check my phone, $1,100. Just sitting there. For your wig. I cannot even explain to you how that felt in the moment. It wasn't about the wig. It was about the yes. Because in my dumb, selfish, short-sighted little mind, Cliff had become the man who always told me no. No to the wig. No to weekend trips with friends. No to this, no to that. Bruce? Bruce said yes. The emotional affair I never thought I'd have. After that night, Bruce and I started talking more. DMs turned into late-night phone calls. Phone calls turned into venting sessions. He told me about his life. I told him about mine. And yes, we flirted. Hard. I never slept with Bruce, let me make that clear. But emotionally, I was absolutely cheating. Bruce even offered to drive to my state to meet me. And that is when the guilt hit me like a freight train. Because whatever mess I was making, I hadn't physically crossed a line yet. But I knew if I met him, I might. So I did what I thought was the mature thing to do. I asked Cliff for a temporary separation. The worst mistake of my life. I sat Cliff down one night after he got home from a trip. I told him I felt like we'd grown apart, that I was lonely, that I didn't feel like a priority in his life. He sat there, quiet, calm. Then he asked me flat out, "Is there someone else?" I swore up and down there wasn't. Another lie, not physically, but emotionally, yes. I told him I just needed space to figure things out. He nodded slowly, said okay, packed a small bag that night, and left. He flipped the script on me. What I thought was going to happen was that Cliff would miss me. He'd text me every day, call, beg to come back, realize how much he needed me. Instead, less than 2 weeks later, I got served. Divorce papers, straight to my door. My heart dropped. This man didn't even fight me, didn't argue, didn't ask why. He went full no contact and blocked me everywhere. Phone, social media, emails bounced back. Even mutual friends said he told them not to pass along messages from me. It was like I didn't exist. Sitting in the mess I made, I tried everything. Sent letters. Showed up at his old gym. He doesn't go there anymore. Reached out to his sister, who told me bluntly, "Mary, Cliff's done. You asked for space. He gave it to you. Permanently." Turns out Cliff had been quietly watching me spiral on TikTok for months. Watching me live stream for hours to strange men while complaining about being lonely. I found out later he screenshotted several of my lives and sent them straight to his lawyer. I was devastated, and I still am. Where I am now, Bruce, gone. That man ghosted me the second he found out I was actually divorcing. Shocker, right? TikTok? Deleted. That app ruined my life. No, I ruined my life using that app. Cliff, still no contact. And here I am, in this big empty house, staring at sunflowers on my kitchen table that I bought for myself, crying because the man who used to bring them to me without me asking is gone. Because of me. Why I'm really writing you. I know your channel is full of men telling their side. I get it now. I really, really get it. I became her. The woman these men talk about with such heartbreak and anger. And the worst part? Cliff never deserved it. He was loyal, kind, hardworking, faithful, and I threw it all away for compliments from strangers and a $1,100 wig. God, typing that makes me want to vomit. If you read this on your channel, tell the women watching, don't be me. Attention from strangers isn't love. Validation from men online isn't respect. If you're lonely, talk to your husband, fight for your marriage, get therapy, figure it out. Don't go live. Don't go looking for yes men online who will disappear the second your life falls apart. Cliff, if you ever hear this somehow, I'm sorry, and I loved you. I still love you. But I know you're gone. And I deserve every bit of this heartbreak. Update. I take back what I said. I didn't deserve this. Hey, it's me again, Mary. I told myself I wasn't going to write you again. I thought after I sent you that first email, the whole embarrassing truth about how I let TikTok attention and loneliness ruin my marriage, that would be the end of it. But after watching more of your videos, reading the comments, and sitting through another gut-wrenching therapy session, I realized something. I need to say this loudly, clearly, and from the bottom of my heart. I take it back. I don't deserve what happened to me. I don't. I know I said in my first email that I did. I know I beat myself up and called myself every name in the book, but that was guilt talking. That was shame. That was me replaying every insult I've seen men online throw at women like me. But my therapist, God bless her for putting up with me, made me realize something powerful. Two things can be true at the same time. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I got caught up in attention I shouldn't have cared about. Yes, I disrespected my marriage by emotionally leaning on strangers instead of my husband, but that does not mean I deserve to be discarded like trash. That does not mean I deserve to be replaced like I was nothing. And that sure as hell doesn't mean I deserved what Cliff did next. The email I sent Cliff. I sat on this email for days, rewriting it, crying over it, editing it, deleting it. But eventually, I sent it because in my heart, I just needed him to know how I felt. Here's the exact email I sent him. Subject, from me to you. One last time. Cliff, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, and honestly, I debated sending this at all, but I don't know how else to get these words out without sending them directly to you. First, I want to say I'm sorry, truly, for everything. For the way I acted during our marriage, for the ways I hurt you without even realizing I was doing it. I never meant to make you feel unimportant, unloved, or like you weren't enough. I got caught up in attention that should have never mattered to me. I mistook loneliness for entitlement. I confused boredom with a lack of love. But Cliff, I never stopped loving you. Even on my worst days, even when I was at my most selfish, you were always my safe place, my home. And I destroyed that. I've thought about the day I asked for space more times than I can count. It haunts me. I thought I was testing the strength of what we had. I thought I was doing what every social media post told me to do. Find myself, focus on me, take a break. I didn't realize I was handing you the scissors to cut me out of your life. And cut. You did. So fast. So sharp. It felt like you had that lawyer on speed dial before I even finished my sentence. That hurt, Cliff. Bad. But what hurts even worse is how easily you replaced me. I saw the pictures, Cliff. My cousin sent them to me. The ones of you and her. She looks young, pretty, carefree. Everything I used to be before life wore me down. And honestly, I hope she knows what she has in you. I hope she sees the way your eyes crinkle when you laugh. I hope she gets your corny jokes. I hope she loves sunflowers like I did. But most of all, I hope she doesn't hurt you the way I did. Because you didn't deserve that. Just like I didn't deserve to be left so brutally. I don't expect you to respond. I just needed you to know I still love you. I probably always will. Goodbye, Cliff. Mary. His reply, are you ready for this? Because I wasn't. His reply, after me pouring my heart out, was exactly this. Stop harassing me, woman. That's it. No greeting, no emotion, no closure, nothing. But here's the thing. I don't think it was him. I know Cliff. I was married to him for almost a decade. That cold, dry, dismissive message didn't sound like him at all. And Cliff's the type of man who would have either ignored me completely, or if he did reply, it would have been cold but respectful. This felt catty. This felt female. And my gut told me exactly who wrote it. Her. The new girl. The one my cousin sent me Facebook screenshots of, finding out about her. I'll never forget the phone call from my cousin. Mary, girl, have you seen Cliff's Facebook? My heart dropped. No, he blocked me on everything. Her sigh was so dramatic it almost felt like she was about to cry for me. Girl, I gotta send you these screenshots. And when they came through, I swear it felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. There he was, Cliff, smiling bigger than I'd seen him smile in years, arms around this young-looking woman who honestly could pass for a college student. The captions, stuff like, my peace, glad God gave me a second chance at happiness. Sometimes the blessing comes after the storm. It made me sick, like I had never existed, like we had never existed. Therapy sessions turned her detective work. Of course, I brought all of this to my therapist. I told her about the screenshots, the email. The reply I don't think came from Cliff. Her response? Mary, I hate to say this, but the way he acted so quickly with the divorce, the new girlfriend, the coldness, there's a chance Cliff had been emotionally or mentally checked out long before you realized. And then she hit me with it. Sometimes men who move that fast already had someone else lined up. That broke me. Because in my mind, Cliff was the loyal one, the steady one, the dependable one. Looking back, he did have that lawyer lined up too quickly. He did cut me off like I never mattered. And now he's with her. What I did next, God help me. Okay, I'm not proud of this. Actually, I'm really embarrassed, but the pain made me stupid. I wanted answers. So one afternoon, after I knew Cliff was off work, I drove to his job site. I parked a few blocks away, waited. And when I saw his truck pull out, I started following him, heart racing, hand shaking. I felt like some crazy lady in a Lifetime movie. But guess what? Cliff's always been sharp. He noticed me pretty quick. And at a red light, in the middle of the traffic, he jumped out of his truck, stormed back to my car, and yelled, Mary, stop harassing me or I'm calling the police. It was like being slapped in the face. That wasn't the man I married. That was a stranger who wanted absolutely nothing to do with me. Where I'm at now. So yeah, that's my update. No fairy tale ending, no rekindled love, just me, alone, in therapy. trying to figure out who the hell I am without the man I spent almost a decade loving. But if there's one thing I know for sure, I don't deserve this pain. Not like this. And if Cliff did cheat, if he really was lining this girl up before I even said the word separation out loud, then maybe I'm mourning a man who stopped being my husband long before the paperwork was filed. Anyway, thanks for reading this mess of an update. Maybe someday I'll write back with better news. But today, this is my truth. Mary.